Welcome to the Overheard podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Rudel. With me always my co-host.
We got Maddie Raves. Let's go.
What is good?
What's
Our
good?
guest this week is Marta.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How's everyone's week?
Week's been good.
Yeah?
Week's been hectic for us. Let's start with your week, Marta. How's your week been?
I mean, it's only Tuesday, so.
Good point. Good point.
Monday was pretty good. It's been a bit hectic, but busy getting back into routine after the holidays. but
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I always forget about that because my
Yeah.
routine during the holidays is slightly less relaxing,
True.
I guess, if you could say that.
Work during
Yeah.
the holidays, definitely.
Nice. How was the holidays? Good?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Nice family and friends?
I actually was in New Zealand, which I guess we're
Ooh.
going to touch on. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I was in New
We'll
Zealand.
touch
That
on
sounds
that.
not too bad at all, dude. That's a good little Christmas vacation
it
right
was
there.
nice.
Absolutely.
Got some sunshine.
Nice. How was yours?
We've had a bit of a hectic week, me and you, Matt.
Oh, yes.
We've been switching things over to the new
Yeah.
rig. So you might have seen us post last week about switching over computers. We got a brand new setup.
Right.
Matt probably spent about 10 to 12 hours this week.
Oh, easy.
Getting
Yeah.
us all ready for today's
We
show.
were,
So I
what,
got to thank you, bro. That's huge.
5-6 hours the other day, just installing everything and hoping that when we opened it all, it was going to work. And it looks like it's working.
Looks like it's working sweet. So we're back.
Oh, it was a little hectic, but we made it.
Before we dive too far into things,
Yes,
we do
yes.
want to read a little bit of a trigger warning or disclaimer because we're going to be broaching some sensitive topics today. So in this episode, we'll be discussing sensitive topics including mental health and eating disorders. These subjects obviously may be triggering for some listeners. Please take care of yourself and prioritize your well-being above all. If you need to, join us next week or sit this one out, we won't take offense to it at all.
Yeah, none.
But yeah, let's get to it. A little bit about Marta. Born and bred in Banff, Alberta. So one of our first Banff born
First
guests.
unicorn. First
Yeah.
unicorn of the podcast. Let's go.
So graduated Concordia University in Montreal with a degree in kinesiology and is now pursuing a master's in psychology. While in Montreal, skated for Team Canada's synchronized skating team, La Suprême Majeure, winning the 2022 World Championships.
Jeez.
During her skating career, was faced with some mental health issues, which led to take a year off to focus on recovery. After retiring, has now turned to IronMan triathlons.
Mhm.
Wild
That's
stuff.
right.
Jeez.
Which includes competing in the 2024 World Championships and now preparing for 2 full-distance Ironmans. We'll get to that in a little bit. Currently a figure skating coach in the Bow Valley, and her aim is to inspire others to dream big, work hard, and persevere, proving that challenges can lead to strength and growth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
That's a wild intro.
Absolutely.
That is an accredited intro, I would
love
say.
it.
Where do we begin?
I know, like,
About growing up in Banff, maybe.
yeah. How was that?
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy to be the first unicorn here. I feel very special. But it was very fun. I definitely took it for granted growing up here. I had no idea how special it was to
For sure.
be born and raised here.
Right.
I only realized when I moved to Montreal and I kind of left the mountains, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I was so
Whoa.
lucky growing
yeah.
up to live here. But it definitely had like some disadvantages in terms of it felt like we were a little bit limited in kind of extracurricular activities, like in school and stuff. You wanted to do something, or
Right.
you were really good at one sport, but you're just kind of limited in what we have here.
For
So
sure.
I remember thinking that. But then it was just like so nice to always get to be outside, have
Right,
a really
right.
supportive, close knit community as well.
Yeah.
Big
Good point.
time.
So,
That
yeah.
it is for
Like,
sure.
even in my hometown, like, it's considered small in Ontario. It's like, what, 40,000 people, something like that. And even there, it's like people always consider it like this small, tight knit town. It's not. Like, everybody kind of knows everybody's drama, but it's not supportive at all. It's like the opposite of
Mhm.
Banff. Like, everybody's
Mhm.
kind of doing their own thing. And we've touched on that actually a few times on the podcast. Just like the community feel here is just
Mhm.
different than you get anywhere else.
I would say it's
very
unmatched for
Right.
sure. It does make this place absolutely special, which is a big part of why we do this show, to highlight
No doubt.
parts of the community that we love, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, born and
Yeah.
bred in Banff. That's wild. So many
Yeah.
people. How do you feel like so many people want to come here? And I feel like the
Yeah.
people that are born here kind of want to get out and experience more. Like, how's that kind of feel for you?
Yeah, it's so true because when we graduate high school, pretty much all of us kind of have to leave. Most of
For
us
sure.
either go
Right.
travel or go work somewhere, go to university. So we kind of all get out of here. But then that's kind of when you realize you're like, wow, it's so special to be
Right.
able to come back. So now, like when I'm traveling stuff, I say, I'm from Banff. Everybody knows it. So now I kind of have that like gratitude for it.
Nice, nice.
And that's why I came back because I realized how special it was, and I just love the support. So
Nice.
yeah.
Right on.
It's a hard spot to leave.
For
Even
sure.
if you're from here, I guess. It's a
Yeah.
hard spot
Even
to
if you're
leave.
not from here, like I came here, fell in love with the place, left a few times, and the lifestyle that I have
Right.
other places is unmatched compared to the lifestyle that I have here. So
We've heard
Totally.
that. We've heard that from a few people too. Like
definitely.
most of our
Mhm.
guests are like, "Oh yeah, I left, I came back. I left, I came back, and now I'm back for good." Or it's
Yeah.
like it's a common theme. It's like once you get a taste of Banff and you go somewhere else, you're like, we
100%.
got it pretty good back there, man. Like so,
Absolutely.
We do have it pretty good.
no doubt.
So how did the figure skating come to be? When did you start? How did you get into synchronized figure skating? Can you give us a rundown of what that is? Like, I'm not sure all of our audience would know what synchronized figure skating entails.
Yeah, totally.
What's going on there?
So I started skating in Banff here in the Bow
Mhm.
Valley Banff Skating Club when I was 5 or 6. I was put into all the sports.
Yep.
Parents put me into skating.
As you do.
Fell in
Yeah,
love
nice.
right
Yep.
away.
Awesome.
Not really sure what it was about it, but I just got obsessed right away.
Nice.
So it was my chosen sport. And then I did that until I was about 16 or so, individually.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I kind of started to hit, I guess, like the mental health battles and just like striving for perfection. And
Right.
I kind of fell out of love with the sport because I had pushed myself so much. So then I was like, there's got to be something else for me.
For sure.
So that's how I found synchronized skating.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I thought I was going to quit, I was like, no, there's something else for me.
So maybe like taking the pressure off the individual performance into kind of a team
Right.
aspect, alleviating that.
Yeah, exactly. So just having people to lean on to work together,
Yeah.
not being so alone all the time. So that's kind of how I found the sport. And then I went to Calgary for my last 2 or 3 years of high school
Okay.
to skate on a team there.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I kind of just found out, like there's Team Canada. And
Cool.
once I found out about them, I was like, okay, I'm set. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
So that was a goal that you set for yourself,
Yeah.
kind of
Wow.
upon. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
How did you go about obtaining that goal? Like, so you started in Calgary, you're skating for what? How does it work? Is it like a club team, I would
Mhm.
assume, and then you kind of move up through the ranks, or how does
Mhm.
that climb look like?
Yeah, so there's at the time there was one club in Calgary, now there's 2, and there's like different levels, so kind of different age groups.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. Like you work up in the ranks, I guess you
Cool.
could say, or just like with the age groups.
Nice.
But yeah, so I just like joined that team. And I did it just in kind of the hopes of skating for Team Canada eventually. And I went out 2 years before I graduated. I went to Montreal and kind of just met the coaches, got feedback, figured out what I needed to do to make the team. And then that last year of high school, I just worked my butt off doing
Nice.
whatever I had
Nice.
to do to make the team. And so then I was kind of flying like every few weekends to Montreal to train.
That's
and just to-
wild.
Oh, they were flying you out there.
I was flying.
you
out
were
there.
flying me out there.
I
Oh,
wish
no.
they were flying me out there, but I was flying
Wild.
out there. Yeah.
Talk about a commute.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
My teachers at school were like, literally, some kids can't even get to class on time, and they like didn't do anything all weekend. And I was there early.
Like you think the
after
travel
flying.
hockey guys go far? Like they're like, oh, I got to go to Leeds this weekend. It's like, bro, she's going to Montreal for the weekend to go skate. Like
Yeah.
that's a whole different
That's
story.
a
That's
whole
insane.
new level of commitment, I would say.
No
for
doubt.
sure.
How did you make that work?
Honestly, I am blessed with my family and the parents that I have because at
Nice.
that time they were fully supporting all of that.
Yeah,
And like
that's
through
awesome.
university and when I was skating out there, I have the parents that I do and
Nice.
the support, and they were just always there for me. So that's
That's awesome.
yeah, I was
That's
very lucky.
that's always nice to have. It was kind of like my parents with music. Like
hmm
they knew I was a bit of a dipshit, but they're like music,
Yeah.
music or something audio is going to be what this kid's into for the rest of his life. So they're always like, yeah, you need a new guitar, you need new equipment. Like, sure, go ahead. My dad's like, fuck that. My mom's like, no, he's getting a new guitar. I'm like, yes, thanks, mom.
Yeah.
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 Supportive
Yeah.
parents will get you there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Look at us now, Dan.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
Oh God. So synchronized skating obviously involves like a whole team.
Mhm.
Like what's the chemistry like there, and like how do you guys keep that chemistry kind of going? Because it's obviously everybody's supposed to be doing the same thing, same
Yeah.
time, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have to be like marching to the beat of the
Yeah,
same
no
drum.
doubt.
You know what I mean?
how do you
Yeah.
how do you keep that chemistry going, or like how do you build that in your team? Because obviously that team might change
Yeah.
like as you're moving on, right? Like how do you manage that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'll start with saying what synchronized skating is because I kind of skipped over
Oh,
that.
right.
But it's pretty much you have 16 skaters typically,
Mhm.
all doing the same thing at the same time, skating in unison. But it's like pretty much it's like figure skating that you see on the Olympics, but on steroids, like
Yeah,
times
yeah.
16.
Cool.
So there's lifts, jump spins, different kinds of elements.
Wow.
So that's kind of what it is. But it's not on the Olympics, which is unfortunate. That
Yeah,
discipline's
that's like-
not.
But they have synchronized swimming on the Olympics, which is the same thing just
and
in
like
water, I guess.
cheerleading.
They have
But
cheerleading now?
yeah, in the Summer
Really?
Olympics. Yeah.
What?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's like cheering on a sport. Like, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
in the States they take
They
it
do
a
some
little bit
pretty
more
wild
serious.
stuff. I mean, but
What other
do, but-
nations are practicing cheerleading besides like North America?
Yeah,
though?
right. I
Yeah.
know. So, and for us, they were like, well, we don't want to support the numbers. Like, it's too many people.
Ah,
But-
for like the team.
Yeah, because
Oh.
each team brings so many people with
hundreds,
them.
like logistically, yeah.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So
it's not in the
who's
Olympics.
competing in the worlds with you then? Like what are the teams that you're competing against when you go to like say the world championships? Like
Mhm.
there's obviously got to be enough teams.
Yeah, so there's about, I'd say like honestly, 20 countries.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so pretty much all of Europe,
Mhm.
every country there
Cool.
mostly, especially the Scandinavian countries. They're super, super strong. And then America, obviously Canada. And there's some funky countries sometimes, like Mexico has
Really?
did it a few
Nice.
times. Yeah. like,
Mexico has
they're
a
super
like
fun.
you would never think like synchronized.
Australia.
100%. Growing up, we used to go
yeah.
down, like we would play an
Yeah.
exchange with Mexican hockey teams. They would come up and
Really?
play in Canada. Yeah,
Totally,
absolutely.
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So just build an
Yeah.
arena and just
I
chill
think,
out.
yeah, ice sports,
Literally.
like even in Australia, there's
Oh,
like
dude,
there's
I-
like men's leagues and stuff
I
you
bet
can
you the-
get. And
I bet
Yeah.
the concession stand food at Mexican arenas is so
it's so
good.
good,
Oh
so
my
good.
god.
Taco in a
Oh, yeah.
bag.
give me
Oh,
that
yeah, that's what I'm
elotes,
talking
baby.
about.
Let's
That's what I'm
go.
talking about. Oh, geez, that's great.
Yeah. I didn't answer your question though. About the chemistry.
Right.
So yeah, pretty much like you have to be super, super connected. Otherwise, if you're not connected off the ice, like you're never gonna be able to skate
Right,
together
right.
on the ice. So there's just a lot of we had like a lot of mental prep work kind of off the ice that we did with like
Cool.
psychologists.
Cool.
And then we had to really learn about each skater. So like, what do you need if you have a bad day? Like, do you need us to talk to you, or you need space? And like, you just
Cool.
have to learn exactly what each person needed.
That's cool.
And then like at competitions, like some people, we knew how each skater kind of worked at a competition, like
Fair.
support that they
Right.
needed.
How
So
they
you
like to
really just
prepare.
learn everything about each
They
girl.
should have that for touring bands. Like, are you prepared to spend 11 days in a small minivan with all your gear and 5 dudes? I think so. You're not.
You're not.
You're
Not
not.
till
I'm
you're
telling
in
you
it.
right now. It's like, oh, the singer's having a bad day. What's going on there? Don't talk to me. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, you'd think it almost like it could get dangerous if not everyone's on the same
Yeah.
page with 16 skaters. What? That's
You got-
32 blades flying
Yeah.
around
Well,
on
like-
the ice,
Yeah.
you know?
And you know how hard like some of the hockey hits are like, and you don't have pads on them, like protection of really of any kind, right? So
True.
you collide with another skater, that's gonna hurt. Like, have you ever seen any crazy collisions, injuries,
Oh, we've had
drops?
lots.
Like, oh yeah,
Lots.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of injuries. Like the one year, I think the year that we won Worlds, the girl that was lifted, she got dropped
Ooh.
and she had to have surgery on her femur. Like she fully broke
Oh
it
no.
because I don't know, they just like dropped her, and then there's a lot of cuts. Like I got a few stitches here and there from just like getting cuts from
Skates.
other
Yeah.
blades.
Yeah, crazy.
That's nuts.
So yeah, y'all got to be on the same page.
For sure.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
your safety is on it.
Yeah.
We touched a little bit about like the psychology and, kind of performance anxiety and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
In sports, there's often this, in any sport, there's often this idea of like the athletes having a game face on or, holding up to a certain kind of performance.
Right.
Like, how did you deal with that yourself? Like you said, you drifted into some darker days from transitioning from your solo career to synchronize. Like, how did you deal with those mental health issues?
So I think it's super valid, and a lot of athletes do have kind of that game face on, but then they go home and they have so many challenges,
Right.
and then that's when burnout happens, and that's when, and I mean, it's not just athletes, it's any
People in their regular
just
lives.
people
Yeah.
in general, and they kind of just put it under the carpet, and then you can only do that for so long
Right,
before it starts falling out.
Absolutely.
Carpet's only so big, right? So I guess what happened to me is I completely denied it. I had no idea what was going on
Mhm.
until I hit kind of rock bottom, and until I was like forced into treatment by my coaches, because I really did not believe what was going on.
Crazy.
If you don't mind me asking, what did
Mhm.
rock bottom look like for you?
For me, so I initially just, again, it was like the perfectionism, and then I ended up breaking my foot my first year.
Mhm.
Oh god.
And that was kind of like my trigger, I guess. So I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get back on the ice. And pretty much I just like way too much, like dove into exercising, like way too much.
Just overdid it.
Overdid
Yeah.
it,
Mhm.
stopped eating. And I was just like, I'm doing everything I can to get back on the ice. And then it only took a few months and I developed anorexia.
Oh,
But had no idea. Wasn't my intention, but it happened. And there's a huge genetic factor to it as well. So I was kind of predisposed to it. But
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, so that's
Crazy.
actually like one of the biggest factors that you develop an eating disorder is like genetic predisposition.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah. But typically there is like a trigger, or
Right.
that's how it
Something
comes
sets it
out.
off, right?
Exactly. And so yeah, that kind of happened to me, and then it was my coach that was like, we have gone way too far, and so she brought me to treatment. And I still didn't deny it, but I didn't believe it for like a few months.
wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy how like,
Just sneaks up
It-
on you and you
It
just
does,
yeah.
yeah.
well, how it can play tricks on you too, right?
Mhm.
Like, not to compare, but with the alcoholism, it's a very similar thing. Like I denied it for so long. I was like,
Mhm.
nah, 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 nah. And then all of a sudden you hit an incident or an event that kind of triggers all.
Yeah.
An incident.
Yeah.
That's what you hit? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my story is a
So
little
good.
different. But
Same thing with like gambling too. I've talked to a lot of people
100%.
in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
And it's just like you hit rock bottom, and then you're like, shit, now I'm actually, in the dumps.
yeah,
So
we got to give a big shout out to the coach that
yeah.
recognized
doubt.
it. And I think that's a big lesson to learn to anyone out there listening, that if you notice your friends are having
Mhm.
any troubles with
Right.
mental health or anything, do you want to mention that there's 24-hour resources always available at the Mineral
Mhm.
Springs Hospital, as well as the hospital in Canmore.
Mhm.
So if you're ever experiencing any issues, don't be shy to go there yourself or send your
Okay.
friends there.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of my goal and everything that I'm doing now is to help people not get to rock bottom. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
Yeah,
to help them
that's always good.
realize, hold on a second, like something's going on, and realize what's actually important in their
Right.
lives, rather than just like pushing and hitting that rock bottom. That's kind of what I'm trying to
And
help with.
What were some of those signs for you that you ignored on your way?
Now looking back at it, I do know what they were, but it was just like, again, over exercising for me personally. And mostly I think a huge sign for any kind of mental health disorder is pushing people away, changing your routine, hiding, not being honest with yourself, just like really ignoring kind of basic everyday
Right.
needs.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I don't need that, or not caring about yourself, and like really just starting to push away your closest people. I think that's kind of a huge telltale sign that, something's wrong. Like, let me speak up about it before something happens.
Right.
Well, that's great to know,
Yeah.
honestly.
No
Yeah.
doubt. What would you say is your biggest takeaway lesson from your whole experience with either like solo skating or synchronized skating?
hmm
Like, what would you say is just your biggest takeaway, I guess, from the whole experience?
I think through all the ups and downs, mostly just to always put yourself first and like always remember your health and your happiness before
Right.
any medal, before monetary gain, before anything like that. Because at the end of the day, like you are the only person you have to live with for the rest of your life.
True.
Good point.
So take care of it, you know? So I think that's one of the biggest things. But then also just remembering your why and like finding your purpose.
Good
Why
point,
am I
good point.
choosing to do this crazy stuff? Like
Yeah.
what am I trying to do? And using kind of any like failure or mistake to like build up your resiliency because we're gonna face challenges throughout our whole life,
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, no
right?
doubt.
Regardless of
For
if it's
sure.
in sports, school, work, whatever, like you're always gonna have to be facing something. So kind of just taking all those failures and mistakes and like helping it build you to become stronger for the next one.
For sure. I think in maybe not all of society, but people's fear of failure is what really like keeps them from
Oh, big time.
growing.
Yeah.
Not trying that thing because you're scared to fail. People are kind of, I feel like, babied nowadays into like they can't do no wrong, and failing is not really something that they've ever experienced. When you do
Mhm.
fail as an adult, it's like this huge catastrophic thing
Right.
where
Yeah.
learning how to fail is a big part of succeeding as well, right?
No doubt.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I think there's some great lessons to learn there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Crazy.
absolutely.
So what drove you to get onto the IronMan circuit? Because I would get tired and worn out just watching one of those races, let alone try and participate. I'd be dead by the end of the first leg.
I was getting tired just researching it.
See, that's what everyone says, but if you commit to it, I have full faith that anyone could do it.
I'm a kitchen boy. I can run maybe like 40 feet to the other end of the line, and that's about it.
I ran to Canmore one time from Banff, and it was
What?
enough to
Hey,
wreck
that's
me.
impressive.
Yeah.
Dude,
I did it
nice.
once, and I was like, my knees, I was cooked.
If I ran from here to the store, I would be out of breath.
Nah,
Yeah.
No. You could do it.
So back to the back to
question.
not
Yeah.
our fitness levels, but what drove you to get into the Ironman racing?
So after the 2022 World Championships, when we won that, and then I retired, I was like,
It's a hell of an age to retire.
Yeah.
What can you let me in on your
I
secrets?
yeah, I was 20,
Yeah.
21,
Jeez.
and I stopped
That's wild.
skating competitively. And I was like, oh, I'll be fine. Like, I'll just focus on school.
Mhm.
But about 2 months into that, I was like, oh no.
You're
like,
bored already?
I am
Yeah.
bored. I
Yep.
have a competitive drive. And my friends were like, well, why don't you just like do something crazy and just like start triathlon? And
Wild.
so usually people start like small distances,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
build your way up.
Do like a 10, 20K something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'll just jump right into it. So my friends and I signed up for our first half Ironman in Italy, in Venice.
How long is a half iron?
A half Ironman is a 2K swim, a 90-kilometer bike, and then a half marathon.
I feel like I'm underestimating 2Ks of swimming. I feel like
Yeah.
swimming for kilometers.
2,000 yards of swimming, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I could swim, I could swim across the pool for a beer, and that's about it.
Yeah, what's interesting? Because in the pool, it's like honestly not bad.
Mhm.
You do that kind of every day during
Right.
training,
Okay.
but when you're out in the open water,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a lot.
For sure.
So
'Cause you
that's
have-
the half, and then the full is 4K. So and obviously like double the
That's
distance
insane.
for
Double the
everything
distance.
else. Yeah.
What is the like 70.3? What does that have to do? Is that
That's
the distance?
half. Yeah. So 70.3 is the miles.
Okay, mom.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like trying to figure that out. Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between a 70.3 and a full? So that would be the half.
Yes, that's the half.
Okay,
distance.
so-
So
Yeah.
Ironman's like
Yeah.
140. Like,
140.6.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Miles.
Yeah, miles.
Yeah, alright.
Which for
A
those
lot of
people that don't
kilometers.
know, it's a long ways. Like
Long ways.
How long
Yeah.
would that take you to do, like in time wise?
So for the typical person that's racing Ironmans, I'd say between like 10 and 15 is pretty average
For the full or for the half?
for the full.
For the full, yeah.
10 would be quick, actually. 10 would be quite fast. And then I think the cutoff time is 18 hours. for the full distance. For
Crazy.
the half, the cutoff distance is 8.5 hours, I believe. But most people are between like 4 and like 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
pretty
pretty
quick.
quick.
that's insane,
Yeah.
dude. I don't think I could ride my bike 100K that fast. Like,
Yeah.
How do you train for an Ironman? So obviously there's 3 different disciplines, right?
Right.
You're biking, you're running, and you're swimming. So you'd
Mhm.
have to train for all those 3 independently and then bring them all together for race day.
Mm-hmm.
What does your training schedule look like?
No doubt.
Training's crazy. It's just a lot of volume and a lot of time. So you
Mhm.
have to know how to time manage.
Of course.
And also be able to kind of listen to your body. And if you're starting to burn out, you have to figure out how much time you can actually give to all the 3 disciplines.
no doubt.
But I mean, most people are training every day, like 7 days a week, 6 days a week.
How far out, like from the competition, are you training that?
It depends. Like some people will go, they're constantly doing races, so it's kind of just like a never ending
Yeah,
They're just kind of
continuous.
always
just
on
kind
the
of race
grind.
ready.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I did. Like after Worlds, I just took 2 weeks and then you kind of just restart and it's
Cool.
constant.
Yeah.
But depending how far out you are, you're either working on like your aerobic base and just working on like just getting your endurance up.
Right.
Closer to the race, you're working on like race specific pacing and like more high intensity.
Crazy.
And then you kind of
Oh,
taper
hi, Larch.
2 weeks before the race and you're kind of just chilling and doing nothing.
Like resting.
You're
for
resting.
sure.
So just like
Nice.
holding in all that energy before you race.
And then
cool.
race day must feel what does race day feel like for you? Are you
Race day's
anxious? Are you
crazy.
nervous? Is there do you get
Um,
this like because it's still you're back to an individual performance again,
Mhm.
but in a bigger field, it's I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe a little less eyes on you, but how do you
Yeah. So it's interesting. When I was skating, I never really got too nervous. Later at the beginning, my first few years I did. But then like at Worlds, for example, I was just like, I'm here to have fun. Like
Yeah, nice.
That's cool.
that's kind of my whole team's mindset. Like we were just there to have fun. And I definitely carried that on with me to the Ironmans. It's just a little bit different because now it's more of a nervousness as in like fear of, am I going to get through it? Am I going to get sick?
Right.
Am I going to fall off my bike? Am I going to drown? Like it's more fear of that stuff. But then just remembering I've put so many hours into the training, like I can do it,
for sure?
but it's just more of a nervousness in terms of like, it's going to be hard and it's going to be a long day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, have you ever had a moment where you're just like, I'm not going to make it? Like fatigue's kicking in. Like I'm not going to make it. Is that?
I definitely have had moments where I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I hear you.
For sure.
Why am I doing this? I raced in Victoria last summer and it was pouring rain and
Oh,
cold
no.
and it was honestly a miserable day. Like it was not really fun. But in those moments, I have tattoos on my arms and I just kind of look down at them and they remind me of my why and my purpose. And then I'm like, oh, right, like I'm here for a bigger reason than just to finish this race. Like
For
I'm
sure.
here to like build up my resiliency
Cool.
and just like prove to myself that I can do this. So
Nice.
Because I think the mind can go to some
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
dark places
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're putting yourself through those physical challenges, right? So you've got reminders
I
written
do.
on yourself. That's a great way to do
I
it.
have them
for
like
sure.
on my bike. So, I'm in like my arrow position.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're out on the grids.
and I
Yeah.
just like look at them.
Would
and
you like to
then-
share them with us?
Yeah, I mean, I have keep going
Cool.
on one hand.
Mhm.
And that's just a reminder from kind of like where I was thinking that was the end of
Cool.
my life pretty much. And then being like, no, one step in front of the other.
Nice.
And then on the other arm, it's just kind of the eating disorder symbol. And then in flowers, it has a flower for courage
Cool.
and then a flower for happiness.
Nice.
And I just see those and I'm like, hey, yeah, I got this.
Some very
Right
important
on.
things to remember for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
If
Yeah.
you've ever hiked with me, one of the things that I always kind of keep in my mind, and I share this very openly with anyone who's doing physical challenges with me, is that if it's difficult, or if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right?
Totally.
So
Oh,
when you
yeah.
find yourself alone in these moments where you're exerting yourself and you're out there by yourself and you're just like, you know what? If it was easy, there'd be 100 people here. It'd be like standing at the side of Lake Louise, but
Oh, yeah.
we're out here and we're
Exactly,
doing
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
some
Love that.
awesome tips for
Hell yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Any advice for anybody looking to get into Ironman? Like, that you wish maybe you knew earlier, or just going into it, wish that someone had told you? Or
Definitely making sure that you have the time for it is
Right.
huge, because I think
Right.
a lot of people sign up for one not realizing kind of how much time and dedication it takes. You could get through it, I would say, but if you want to do it well and enjoy the
Yeah.
process,
For sure.
then yes, just like making sure you have the time for it. Finding a coach is super helpful too,
Good point.
so
Yeah.
that they can make a training plan for you that's actually well structured.
Well, I think feasible. I think if you're to make your own schedule, your own workout program, you'd probably
Mm-hmm.
what is it like? Overestimate your own abilities in that sense. Everyone thinks they
Yeah.
can do more than they really
Do
should,
they
right?
Yeah.
like? Do you see a lot of people just show up that like haven't trained and they're just like, I'm gonna sign up, I'm gonna go do it. I go jogging once a week or whatever.
There's definitely a few. I
Yeah?
wouldn't say many, but there is definitely a few people, maybe not for the full Ironman, but more for the half,
yeah.
where definitely like
Just
undertrained
rolling off
They
the-
really
people.
underestimate how far that is.
Yeah, they get it done, but again, like I don't know if it's very enjoyable. So
They're just slogging through it. Just,
Yeah.
like just trying to make. They're like, let's just get this over with, man.
I feel like
This
the
is
next
bad.
week would be horrible. Like from my personal experience,
Oh,
just
yeah.
running to Canmore, like I had worked my way up to it. I was
Yeah.
coming off of a big touring season, so I felt like I was
Oh, yeah.
already in shape. Like but I didn't realize that running slightly downhill the whole way
So bad for your knees.
would
Oh,
crush
yeah,
crush
your
me. And then
knees.
like it ruined my whole summer of running because I took 2 weeks off. I started golfing, and then
That was me
kinda
after I
the end
did
of
it.
Yeah.
That was me after I hiked Rundle the first time. I was like, oh, it's not that bad. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, oh,
Like, I
I'm
can't
basically
move.
like
Yeah.
paraplegic. I can't walk at all. So
We
it's
talked a
bad.
little bit about the world championships. How do you go
Mhm.
from just like running an Ironman race to qualifying or participating in a world championship?
So I qualified in Texas in April of 2024. And they are trying to implement more women into the sport.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of the thing. So
Yeah, I didn't know whether to call it Iron Man or Iron Woman, but
Yeah.
Iron Man is
Like
the
the
name.
brand.
It's a brand,
Obviously,
yeah.
it is the brand.
Yeah. So
Iron Man for women.
yeah, Iron Man for women.
Yeah.
And so anyways, there was more spots available for my age group at that race.
Very cool.
So I got one of them, and pretty much you have to pay for the world championships on the spot when you qualify.
Oh, so you got to like secure your spot.
You gotta
like the
secure your
second
spot
you qualify.
then and there. If you
That's
don't pay, if
wild.
you don't tap the credit card, like right then, you
Somebody
lose
else?
it.
What type of
What?
cost are we talking here? Like, if you don't mind disclosing with us.
It was 1,500 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
Holy.
Just to have
register.
my name
Just-
on the list.
Congratulations.
Just
You
to register
qualified.
for the list. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so obviously I was like, oh yeah,
Congratulations.
it's
Yeah.
done. And then I was like, hold on, I have to get to New Zealand.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Wait a second. It's really hefty.
That's odd,
It's really,
like-
really hefty.
Congratulations. You owe us $1,500.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And this is something that
Yeah.
you're footing personally, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
other
no
racers,
support.
do they have sponsors? Do they get
The pros
funding?
do. The pros
yeah.
like
so
they're
there's pro
sponsored.
Ironman
Mhm.
athletes that
Yeah, like pro
travel the
hockey
circuit?
player,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
pro triathlete.
cool.
Cool.
Same kind of thing. So obviously, like they're all covered.
What would be like their main income? Would be the prize money or just the sponsorships kind of keep them afloat and get them to their races
Mhm.
and then whatever?
So yeah, definitely sponsorships is
Yeah.
like their huge thing is how they make money. But
Crazy.
then there is prize money for, I think it goes probably up to like top 10.
Okay.
But
So-
they don't make much money. They really, really don't. So unless you're winning every single race kind of
Right.
thing.
I feel like anything in that Olympic realm, like
Yeah.
the running, like any track or that type of stuff, it's a really passion driven sport
Mhm.
because people are usually spending their own money to get there and to do these
Oh, yeah.
events, and then the payouts are not like
Yeah.
I went to high school with a speed skater, and it's kind of that same thing where it's like
Yeah.
they get themselves there, they pay for their
Do
training.
you
and
kind of
then,
get to
Yeah.
the top and then like try to hang on to that? Is that like what the
I think it's
like
like
the
trying to get the
tactic is?
big sponsors that come with being like
get
on
Nike,
Team
Reebok,
Canada,
or
right?
whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you're like, sport's over and you're like, well, now what? Like, I have to work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, good
So
point.
that's why I think a lot of athletes have to kind of balance like some kind of work or
Right.
education so that they have something after.
Mhm.
Because yeah, it doesn't make much.
Yeah, you
Obviously,
can't do
unless
it.
you're like,
Well, you
big.
can't do it forever, right? Like
No.
it's like any sport where like you've only got so many years where you can be at the top, or you've even got the ability to be at the top, and then just starts going down, right? Like
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, totally.
I've seen it in a couple different sports. It's the same thing, like in playing in a band. Like after a while, like I'm 40 now. I'm just like I've been
Yeah.
playing in bands for like 25 years, man. I'm kind of just like over it. Like it's just expensive, and you don't really
Yeah.
make a whole lot of money, and it's I don't know. It's like, and then like if you're 25, cool, like push it out. But like, what I'm gonna go on tour until I'm like,
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm-
you could.
I'm gonna go on
could,
tour
you
at 45.
could,
but
you
We'll
could.
see.
So what keeps you in it, Marta? If it's such a like high cost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like why do you do it? What's your why?
Oh, good question.
Nice one, Dan. Nailed it.
Well, we talked about it.
I mean, in general, it is just so much fun. It truly, truly
Cool.
is. And you meet so many cool, incredible people that are all just super hard workers and they have amazing stories.
Mhm.
But for me, again, it's just trying to prove to myself like what I'm capable of.
Cool.
Because I completely lost kind of my identity when I stopped skating. I was like, who the heck am I without this sport?
Right.
Fair.
So this has just helped me find my own kind of strength, and just showing other people to just keep going and that they're capable of so much more than you think. And obviously I'm doing it through kind of an athletic endeavor, but it
Mhm.
applies to life in general.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of my why. That's why I
Right
do
on.
it.
That's great.
Nice,
I
nice.
think
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be sports, whether it's arts or
No.
just whatever you're passionate about.
totally.
If you keep pursuing it, you might get to the top. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. What's next for you? You got any more races on the docket? What are you training for now?
Yeah, so I'm going to St. George, Utah in May
Cool.
for a half. And then right after that, I'll be going to Austria
Wow.
Wow, cool.
for my first full distance. So that's crazy.
That's gonna be wild.
And then I'm staying in Europe and I managed to get a slot to race a stage of the Tour de France.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
ask about
Dan
that.
was saying
So,
something
but I
about it
wasn't sure
earlier.
what that was. So that's just a cycling event then.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh,
that's
yeah.
just a cycling
Okay,
event.
sweet.
So
He's
obviously
Lance
it's-
Armstrong, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know what the Tour de France is, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what one stage of it
Yeah,
meant. So
so they have a leg every year that the amateurs can do.
sweet.
Oh, sweet.
So I don't know how many cyclists there will be, but I'm guessing probably around like 1,000 of us.
Crazy.
wild.
And we all do the one
That's
stage. I
crazy.
think we're doing the 17th stage, and we do it like a few weeks before the actual
Actual
race
race.
gets there.
Nice.
So you got to fly your bike out there and everything?
Yes, I mean that's the thing. I was already gonna be in Austria racing, so
Oh,
then
yeah,
when I
just
got the
easy.
slot
Hop
for
on the train and just
France,
rip. Yeah.
I was like, I'll
Smart.
just stay an extra month and I'll just do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any like favorite places to compete? Like obviously training in Banff, we're up in altitude, but going
Mhm.
to Austria and the Swiss Alps, you're dealing probably with a little bit more altitude. How's the altitude there? Is
It'd be
it
about the same.
I
comparable?
think it's about the
Yeah.
same. I
Is
think
there
it's
anywhere that you
comparable.
like really love, or is there anywhere that's like tougher than most?
Yeah, I mean, I love it here.
Yeah.
I love it here. But I'm super excited to like be in the French Alps and
Mhm.
out in Austria and just like
That's gonna
experience
be
that
cool.
because
Yeah.
it's kind of similar to here,
Okay.
you know. So I'm excited to kind of see the differences. I did like New Zealand, but I think I'm definitely more of a mountain girl. So
Yeah.
I
fair.
want to, kind of keep that around rather than like, I'm not that big of a fan of like warm ocean areas. I like the mountains. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
I have a theory that staying up in cold and altitude places keeps you like a refrigerator, just keeps you better longer. You know, that's kind of
Oh
my
yeah,
Hell yeah,
yeah,
dude, totally.
yeah,
Well, dude,
Just
look
like
totally.
we're keeping ourselves on ice up here.
Oh, you
Yeah,
look
I
at-
agree.
You look at the 80-year-old ladies running full tilt up like Tunnel Mountain, and I'm like dying trying to have a smoke so I can get my lungs back in order. And they're
Literally.
just like, "Oh, hey, son," just chucking by me. I'm like, "Fuck, man, you're like
The
twice
older
my age."
population in town is crazy. They
Oh, I
are
know, they're
doing
wild.
So
like
sick.
they're literally like lapping me. Like that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I want to be.
Dude,
when
I saw Ed
grow up.
Hunter. I saw Ed Hunter at the hill once, like when I first moved here, like 10 years ago, and he fucking ripped by me so fast. I was like,
I believe
the guy's
it.
got to be like 100. But he's like, oh yeah, for sure, he's almost 100. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
wild. Like,
Yeah. Totally.
Well, last night I posted about it. I love me and my partner Nat. We do full moon tunnel hikes,
oh
Mhm.
right,
and usually we're by ourselves because we go a little bit later. But we went a little earlier last night, and there was like same thing, like some older people up there giving her
Just
the full
for
moon.
it.
And I thought
Yeah,
like, it
yeah.
was my own great idea. I'm like, oh man,
No.
I can't wait to do that when I'm old. And just it was so beautiful up there. If
I
you haven't
love
done it on
that.
a full
Oh, yeah.
moon, get up there. It's awesome.
Recommend.
it's a good time. It's a
Yeah.
good time.
Right on. Should we move on to some posts?
Shall we?
I think we
see
should.
what's up for this week. We got a couple dingers.
Yeah,
we got
if
we
it's
got
your
a
first
couple
time
dingers.
joining us, we gather our favorite posts of the week. Some of them, most of them are funny. We got some good news, some bad news this week.
We
Some
always got a
events.
little bit of everything. It's always a
Little
little.
bit.
It's like a cornucopia of comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, let's get to it. All right, first one here. We got another one of these. So this is 2 weeks in a row. We got pile of shit right next to dog bags right in front of a garbage can.
And the post goes on to read that sometimes those bag disposals are empty. That one was actually full, freshly changed.
Yeah.
So a new trend that's emerging from Canmore is people letting their dog excrement right next to the garbage. They'll pick it up. Pick it up, man. You got a dog?
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing? You've signed on.
It's the second one, and it's like touching the fucking garbage.
It's
Like, part of my
inexcusable.
French, but like,
Literally,
it's great.
literally.
Do you have any
Oh,
animals?
I do have 2 dogs.
Nice. Was this you?
No, it's not me. It's not me. No way.
Oh
No.
my god.
I do get it though. Sometimes in the morning, like it's the last thing I want to
Are
be
you right?
doing.
I hear you. I hear you.
I don't have a dog myself, but you know.
Well, what do we got here, Dan? This one's
This one here is a little bit longer. I'm going to pull it
this
up on my
one's a
phone so
banger.
I can read it
So,
properly.
This one reads: Banff parking pay is being hit by inflation too, from $3 just 3 years back. Now it's $7 an hour. And then there was quite a lengthy post here.
Yeah, so this one goes on to read. So it's basically someone complaining about the inflation in parking. And another person chimed in with this comment, which is why I wanted to use this post because I thought it was great. It goes $830,000 of the extra revenue raised by increasing parking fees this coming summer is going to fire protection trailers, protecting critical infrastructure to accelerate your Fire Smart program, all through your climate change residency reserve. And it's paid for by visitors, not by taxes, right? So this person being from Jasper, who lost their home in the wildfire this past summer, you should thank your town of Banff councillors next time you see them, because all this effort is made to protect the town site, and it's being done directly through the parking funds. So,
Gotcha.
That
one's good.
It was just a huge mic drop moment. I wanted to share it with everyone.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, prices are going up.
That's
More
what it
people
is,
are coming
man.
through.
It's
Literally.
like we don't pay for parking anyways.
Exactly, you're a
Yeah,
resident.
just let it go.
Just
let it
like
go.
get a hobby.
I love.
Like, why is that your main worry in your day?
You know what I
But
mean?
It's fine.
We got a couple of people on the local groups that like to just post and shit post, and it's I mean, it's kind of funny sometimes, but then you're just like, dude, the fuck
I
are you
mean,
talking
part of
about?
it does open the debate. Like there's one post we're going to go through in a bit that opened quite a big debate as far as legislation that's coming into
Right.
Canmore. And without these conversations, people don't know about it, you know?
That's a good
Also
point.
true. Also true.
Wait, because you can't post any real news shit anyways on Facebook, right? So,
True. This one is a great post since we're breaching the topic of kind of mental health and all that good stuff. This is a post from our good friends over at the Bow Valley Primary Care Network. It's about loneliness, especially this time of year. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a real thing.
the old sad.
Suspected. As the days get shorter, well, they're getting longer now, but yeah, it's not always the easiest place to be away from your family, to be dealing with cold weather, especially today. Like today's a pretty gloomy day.
It is kind of crap outside, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's been super nice lately, but today was like maybe because it's been so nice. Like I was walking.
Yeah, we got
"Damn."
spoiled. We got spoiled last month. But
Anyways, so this post is all about if you want some help, if you need some help, you can find more tips at their website. This was posted all over Canmore Community Connection,
Bow Valley Network, I
Bow
think.
Valley Care Network is where you're going to want to go seek out that information. There's links. There's all types of easy access to
Heck yeah.
tons of mental health
Love
tips and
that.
tricks.
Heck,
So,
You're never
Heck yeah.
alone.
Nope. Somebody's always around to help, man. Like it's the Bow
Yeah.
Valley.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Somebody here is around. Well, for all of our Latin homies, we
The
got
Latin
the
Fiesta.
Banff Latin Fiesta going down. We got DJ Zorro back to back and DJ Ranquito. So what is this? We got $7 on Eventbrite, $10 at the door, and that's January 15th. So that's tomorrow. 10
tomorrow
p.m.
night at Melissa's. The Latin Fest is always a huge party, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's
People
always a
from
big
all over
time.
the world.
Yeah.
live
Fun.
in
I haven't
Banff.
been.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
have
time.
yet to make my way to the Latin Fest too, but every time they do one, I hear it's a really wicked time.
I
I
know.
unfortunately won't be able to make it because I'm DJing tomorrow at High Rollers. But
Oh.
also another good event. Bunny Hops has the open decks going at High Rollers tomorrow from 9 till late.
So go to both.
You can catch me
Yeah.
there from 1 to 1:30.
There you go.
We're doing a little half hour, I think, drum and bass. We'll see what everybody else is playing and play it by ear. But yeah, pretty stoked. First little indoor gig of the year, and
Nice.
not outside getting snowed on. But
Nice.
yeah, we got two good events tomorrow night. If you guys
Two-
are in town,
Tomorrow is a fun night.
oh yeah, swing
Two
down.
awesome
Good-
events if you're
on
out
a Wednesday of all that. Too.
Yeah, right?
Let's go. All right, what do we got next, Dan?
I'm not too sure. The next
Oh.
one. Oh yeah. This is going down.
There you go.
So Hockey Day in Canada. This event's been coming to Canmore for the past few years.
Yep.
And it's always huge. So it's going down
big
this
time.
Wednesday, the 15th. There's events starting on Wednesday all the way through to Saturday, the 18th. Tons of events. There's concerts, there's meet and greets, there's like a banquet that you can attend, there's a breakfast,
Cool.
tons of stuff. So go to explorecanmore1word.ca. You can get
Nice.
through to all those awesome events. Some of them you need to register, some of them are free.
Cool.
So you'll find all that info there. So go check them out.
Nice one. All right. This one is actually a friend of yours.
Yeah, a friend of mine. Big shout out John Bromley and Catherine. They're putting on a belly dancing event. So I think this is some of the belly dancers as well that dance here at the Balkan.
Oh, cool.
So they're doing an event down in Calgary. There'll be 9 dancers in a live band. Basically, what they're going to do, they're going to get the dancers, they're going to pick songs out of a hat to have them perform.
Oh,
The live
cool.
band's going to
Fun.
perform.
That's
yeah.
cool. Like
That's
DJ
awesome.
roulette. That's sweet.
Basically, yeah, super cool. And the ticket includes a dinner as well. It's in Calgary at the White Diamond Conference Center. So yeah, if you're looking for dinner and a show, we're gonna post the link later on our Facebook.
Yep.
Or no, not on our Facebook, on our Instagram and stuff.
Yep.
On DRoodle. So go follow that one. And we'll get the word out there. If you want to go attend a great night of belly dancing live music in Calgary.
Heck yeah,
Fun
bro.
stuff.
This next one's always classic. Here we go. So this is the early bird gets the choice parking spot. And like this has got to be like 5:30 in the morning. Like this is like it's still dark and they're just like getting lined up already just to
For sure. So for those that are just listening in,
Yeah.
it's a picture of the Banff sign, of course, and someone bright and early has pulled in a sweet park job right behind it on the walking path. Very confusing for visitors somehow that they seem to think that those like
Hey,
little posts or whatever, they seem
Sorry, I'm
to mean you
yelling
can
at the
park
cat here.
there. That's not it. That's not
Yeah, they're
it.
parking stalls.
Yeah.
yeah, there's like
Um,
so many signs to the free parking too.
But
They
it
just-
wouldn't be
yeah.
an overheard week without at least one bad parking. So
Oh,
Also, are
God,
they
I know.
planning on taking that sign down and leaving the one that's downtown now?
I would hope so.
Is that
I don't-
so that this doesn't
Well,
happen?
They
I
move
think
it all
it's-
the time. It moves around like
I think it's
they
kind
have
of like
one that
a
like moves around all the
Mm.
time, and it's like every time they have an event, they move that sign.
Because it'd be
kinda
nice
that
to
event.
avoid all this traffic.
It
but-
would. I'm not
From
sure
what
why
I
they
gather
want that
is-
on one of the 2 roads into town,
Yeah, right.
but
they're like testing different locations. So again, like I thought that where it is now in the middle of town was meant to be like built into a building.
oh,
Oh,
Who
I don't
knows?
know.
we'll
right?
see. We'll see.
Okay,
Well-
this next one is unfair future for Canmore. This is another one of those gripey posts that was going on. So basically, what's proposed is a vacancy tax, which is going to end up raising all taxes for all residents. Basically, it's split the Canmore community into 2. Basically, like true locals versus people that live there and it's their second home, or they might
Right.
work in Calgary or
Right.
commute back and forth. Basically, they're talking about taxing one half of the population crazy amounts versus people that live there full time. How they're going to prove that, or get rid of those gray areas, I don't know.
yeah, no
But it
doubt.
opened this huge debate. Like if you find this post,
Oh,
on,
the comment section is absolutely
yeah,
wild. Like,
and there's like 2 dudes in particular, like really going at it. Basically, one of the guys that's trying to push this tax through, has been like on a CBC News article back, like or an interview back in 2018, saying that the answer is to raise prices and to raise taxes and all this stuff. So basically, it's people that
Yeah.
want to raise taxes and make it a little bit less affordable for people so that landlords can profit and big companies can profit versus people wanting the prices to stay where they are. So if you're living in Canmore and you're affected by this, go check out that post. There's tons of great debate.
oh yeah,
Again, I'm just kind of summing up my interpretation of what's going on there. Yeah, inform yourself because all these things are happening behind not really behind closed doors, but being that we're such a transient population, people coming in and out, such a young population, people don't care about these things.
right.
And oftentimes, council can kind of sneak these little things under the
Yeah,
rug,
that's
which
true.
will adversely affect the population. So
No doubt.
go out and inform yourself.
Hells yeah. Well, this next one's pretty cool. So this is the Canadian in Banff. They're in the Canadian Pacific area.
Yeah, so just a throwback of what the train station
Yeah.
used to look like.
That's a sick train, dude. It's
yeah.
double decker. They got like a
100%.
viewing like cabin up there. Is that the original? Or these ones are still running,
They're
isn't
still running. Yeah, I think
I
they're
heard it-
upgraded.
it?
but
Yeah, I
you
heard
can
it was.
still-
We
someone
talked
was
about this last
saying-
week with
yeah,
Caleb. Yeah.
It was like one of the last years that they're running them, and they're all being upgraded to new trains.
Yeah.
So if you
100%.
want to go ride the Canadian Pacific, it's a sweet trip. It's not cheap, but yeah, these old school like stainless steel kind of like.
beautiful trains.
Oh yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a streamliner almost. They're sweet, dude. But they'll be decommissioned, I guess, at the end of this year, next year, something like that.
So if you're in a
we'll
train, go check them
see.
out. Pretty cool. That's why I included it too. But look, like I love seeing those old timey pics where
Oh yeah,
like the background is exactly the same
Yeah.
as
Oh, yeah.
today. And man, like people have been here
well, the
for
Wu
so
Tang,
long.
the
Yeah.
Wu Tang symbol isn't there on that mountain yet, because
Oh,
right now
yeah.
it has the big Wu Tang W right there.
True.
Yeah, so you can
Fire.
tell that there was a forest fire
Yeah.
since.
That's
when,
true.
When was this?
You're right.
It doesn't say. But anyways, hoping that train comes back soon because that'll be dope.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
The last post of the week, though, this
Oh,
one, the
man.
comment goddamn section of the week, this went off. Like, I think all of Banff is still waiting for this report to happen.
I feel like finally we're back to some true overheard action on our Facebook page.
Big
It's been
time.
pretty quiet for the last few weeks.
Oh, this is great. So this one reads, Tommy's menu says it serves pints, 20 ounces, but that isn't a pint glass. It's 16 ounces. Menus say serve 20-ounce pints. The bill says I'm charged for a pint. It isn't a pint. And yes, I measured because I'm a weirdo that doesn't like getting shorted on beer. I want to make a little point here.
Yes.
So there are two different pint sizes.
Two
North
different pint
American pints
sizes.
and UK pints. A
Mhm.
North American pint is 16 ounces or 473 milliliters.
So the nomenclature of said glass.
It is still a pint
it
somewhere
is
in the world.
Still a pint.
Ah.
Now, a lot of Canadian bars and a lot of specifically Banff bars used to serve the
20 ounce.
traditional
20
20
ounce.
UK
ounce.
20-ounce pint.
Now, even brew pub serves 16-ounce pints. And I had the same discussion with a couple people that were at the brew pub when they first did that. And they're like, this is bullshit. It's not a pint. I'm like, it is a pint. It's a North American pint.
Through
There
shrinkflation,
you go.
473 milliliters. It is a unit of measurement.
you got it.
There
I
we
love
go.
that this person measured it out, like truly bought
Yeah,
a
and he
measuring
says-
cup.
He says, and yes, I measured it because I'm a weirdo that doesn't like getting shorted on. Like, it's just insane. But this isn't what made this post.
That's not the end of it.
Oh God. So this is what actually made the post. So the comment section here.
It goes nuts. First of all, it goes nuts with people
Oh, God.
ripping the original poster. It goes nuts with people defending Tommy's, obviously being that neighborhood pub that we all love. So one of the bartenders, we're not going to name who, you can probably tell by the video, went and took one of the glasses and measured out with an ounce glass
Right.
the 20 ounces that go into the pint. Now, the original poster continues to comment. I'm sorry, here I kind of got it lost. To be completely transparent and consistent, you should not be using the same glass as the OP, not the original poster shown in this photo. I would assume he measured that glass too. So they're saying they measured it in a different glass.
Oh yeah.
So the conspiracy goes deep. I side on the side of Tommy's. I think they're not trying to misrepresent the
No.
pint. Plus, it's
Tommy's
$7.
is here for the people.
Yeah, man. Are you kidding me? Like
It's $7.
the guy, if you were sitting at the bar, you probably would have got 3 shots of Ouzo for free anyway. So
Exactly.
don't worry
Big
about
time.
it, buddy. Just it's calm down.
Instead of being a complainer, you should be a supporter, and free Ouzo would probably come your way, bro.
No
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
No doubt. But yeah,
Hilarious
pretty
stuff.
funny. I think
That's
everybody's still waiting for some sort of update on that. Like
It's kind of gone dormant now, but
for a couple
yeah.
days, for like a day or two there, it was the hot take on the old overheard. But that's all we got for this week, Dan. That's all the posts we got.
That's all the posts we got. It's been a great week. Thank you so much for coming and taking the
No
time
doubt.
to
Yeah,
chat
thank
with
you.
us,
Thank
opening
you.
up again.
Appreciate it.
Like, not the easiest things to talk about and to relive. So we want to thank you for
Yeah, thank
sharing
you.
your
Thank you.
insights with us. What do we got next week, Matt? We got.
I don't know, man. You line up the stuff. I just record it. I'm not too sure what we got next week. Why don't you tell me?
We got Cole, my old roommate Cole. Cole
Oh,
just
yeah.
won the Tommy's Acoustic Battle of the Bands.
Cool. Let's go.
Sick.
Yeah. So big shout out to him on
Thanks.
being successful in that. We're gonna have him on next week. We're gonna
Cool.
be talking traveling. That dude travels all over the world playing music. I know he's bussed all
Sick.
over the place. When I lived with him, you'd like wake up in the morning and I would go down onto the porch in the summer and he'd be like strumming a tune, having a little puff while eating breakfast. Like
That's
just
awesome.
And multitasking at its finest.
like
No
just a
doubt.
very, very creative type of guy. It'll be interesting to catch up with him. I haven't really caught up with him since we stopped living together. So we spent a short time living together.
No doubt.
So tune in next
Fun.
week for some arts. We're switching to the arts next week.
Doing arts next week.
For
Musical arts.
everyone that did join us and stick with us till the end, we really appreciate the support. Like and subscribe to the YouTube
No doubt.
channel. If you're looking for more Instagram updates, go follow at DRoodle right now. That's at DRUEDL. We will be posting from there.
No doubt. For the time being.
For the time being.
We had some Instagram issues, so it's getting resolved. You know how that goes. You know how that goes. We got a new PC and we tried to log in, and now it thinks we're from somewhere else. So it's it supports in support's hands right now. But
Marta, anyone you want to shout out? You want to thank?
Thank you guys. Thanks for
hey,
having
thanks.
me.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just keep on rocking, Bow Valley. We're
Thanks.
pretty cool. So yeah.
no doubt we are.
Heck yeah.
Let's
right
go.
on. Well, that's it for us this week. And like every week,
See you next Tuesday.